Well, good morning, everyone. Appreciate everyone joining us here on our first virtual quarterly rally, although quarterly, probably an overstatement, more of a semi-annual meeting this year, unfortunately, due to circumstances. But we were able to get together in Florida last week, different guidelines down there. And speaking of partying, I am definitely realizing that I am not of the younger generation anymore after seeing what goes on in downtown Fort Myers after 10 p.m. So what a fun time it was. And it was really nice to be able to get together. We also did our top 10 dinner there, which was a fantastic event. So today we have a really good speaker joining us, Ashton Gustafson. Super excited to have him come speak to us today as we prepare for 2021 and all the great things that year is going to bring. I thought before Ashton started at 11, I would just give everyone a brokerage update as we normally do. So today the agenda will be, I'll give an update here as to what's going on. Obviously, any questions, please feel free to chat. And if there's any stats that you would like after this presentation, as always, just let us know and we will get those to you. Wayne is going to give us an update on some projects he's been working on. And then we're going to turn it over to Ashton from 11 to 12 and get you off here probably by 10 after 12 or so. So again, thanks for dedicating your morning to us here and looking forward to it. So let's jump right in. 2020, what a year. If you look back, we had our quarterly meeting in January, and who would have thought what we're going through we would have ever experienced in our lifetime. And I remember when this happened, I think all of us truly hit the panic button and said, uh-oh, where are we going with this? Thankfully for us in Ohio and Florida, we were essential workers and we were able to dive through and continue our business. And what a business we've done. It's been an outstanding year. And I just really wanted to applaud all of you for keeping our clients safe above all during what was going on and the ability to continue to serve those folks in the manner that we've done. As we talk about here at ERA, our boutique approach is different and we really want our clients to experience that. And I can tell you that I was very proud to see customer satisfaction surveys come back from a lot of our clients praising the job that all of you did in 2020. And speaking of that, our coordinators, I've spelled out all of their names on the screen here, and I believe they deserve probably some of the biggest applauses as we're out in the field masking up and wearing gloves and putting booties on and all of that. They were locked in offices behind the scenes doing what they do best, allowing us to be out in the field and continue to serve our clients. So Rachel, Brittany, Sue, Michaela, Sydney, Teresa, Crystal, Haley, Angelica, thank you all so much for what you did. And we could not have done what we've done this year without you. I also want to make a special shout out to Rhonda Federloff and Chuck Roglin. Rhonda, we call her the queen of ERA Real Solutions. What they do in accounting is truly amazing, and we're super blessed to have them on the team. So Rhonda and Chuck, thank you both so much. And again, coordinators, we really couldn't have done this without you. And I know it was a lot for you to come to the offices and sort of lock yourself in, close to the public, close to even our agents coming in. And we really appreciate everything you've done there. So let's talk about the brokerage growth, as we always do. Thus far, year to date, we've had 93 agents join our company. Fantastic growth year as far as agents joining. And again, the one thing to remember is that we don't just want any and every agent. There is an interview process that goes on, and we talk to those folks, and it's got to be a win-win for them and a win for us as well. And I feel the folks that we have taken on to the brokerage, one, have done an outstanding job of getting up and running, getting their business up and running, but two, have really matched the ERA culture that we all talk about. Year to date, I wanted to share with you some production numbers. Year to date, we have closed 2,750 homes, right around 600 million sales volume. As you'll notice, that units sold is a 15% increase comparing 2019 to 2020. And on that same time frame, an 18% increase in sales volume. And I know we put a video out during COVID. I think when all that COVID happened, we sold 400 homes during that 6-week time frame. So again, a huge kudos to each and every one of you for continuing to perform and really serve our clients and our customers. At the end of the day, as everyone knows, we send a survey out to every one of our closed clients. We don't nitpick and say, uh-oh, this one we didn't like, let's not send them a survey. So right now we are running at 99.2% customer satisfaction rating. And I gotta say, I think that's the highest we've been through comparing over other years. And you'll notice the stats there. We've sent out 1,445 surveys with a 22% return rate, which is really a good return rate considering all the spam emails and things that customers and clients get when they're buying or selling a home. And then our customer satisfaction there of 99.2%. So phenomenal job of not only increasing our business and our units sold, but continuing to maintain and serve the client in the right way. Also wanted to give you an update on some physical offices. You know, I think this will be a topic that we probably continue to talk about. What does office space look like, not only in our industry, but in others? And, you know, I think that office space will continue to be needed. It feels, in talking to other colleagues, that folks actually wanted to come back to the office. They couldn't wait for the lockdown to be lifted so we could get back in and have some sort of human interaction. And so just an update from our end there. Cafe offices, if you haven't heard that term or that buzzword, is really a growth and organic growth pattern for us. And these cafe offices are 1,000 square foot or less, and they are positioned in niche markets, niche areas. So right now we have 6 cafe offices open in Cincinnati. We have Over the Rhine, which is downtown Cincinnati. We have downtown Milford, and we have downtown Lebanon. In the Columbus market, we have Pickerington, we have Lewis Center, and we just launched our newest cafe in Upper Arlington. And again, these offices are there for all of us to use. They are all on a lockbox code. They are conference room, Wi-Fi, and printer. So if you're showing properties in those areas or have appointments in those areas, you need to add credibility. Hey, my office is just around the corner here. Feel free to utilize those. And again, they're open to all agents within the company. We also did some branch office remodels. Hopefully a lot of you have seen the new Anderson office there in Cincinnati. John DeCurtins has done a phenomenal job picking that space. We purchased that building and the build out is phenomenal. The Anderson office is really looking good. And again, folks wanted to come back to the office. So, you know, again, I think the physical office will continue to be tweaked. I think it's something that we'll continue to talk about, but I do not think that it's going away. And certainly with our brokerage, you know, we're probably not going to have the 10,000 square foot offices, but it's something that we want to continue to do to have physical space for you and your clients to meet very safely. Okay, let's talk about department updates. As most of you know, property management is a huge department for us. Right now, that crew has just over 1,700 units under management. So a big congrats to Donnie Thompson, Nick Baltimore, and Kelly Tony in Fort Myers, Florida. We now have property management services in Fort Myers, Cincinnati, and Columbus. And if you have any referrals or customers that ask you about that, please feel free to refer those to our property management folks. And as you know, any client that comes into there, they certainly send that client back to you when we go to sell. Company generated business, Megan's department. It's been a weird year for that. I think Megan would agree with that statement. You know, a lot of the corporate moves have been paused, and a lot of you who are on Megan's team have a pipeline or had a pipeline, and I'm sure you have a lot of those folks who have been paused. Despite that, Megan has shifted and focused more time on e-commerce business. And so our company generated business, while it's not down, it's flat, which is a tremendous job on Megan's part to adapt to what COVID has brought the corporate relocation world. In year to date, we have paid over $600,000 in commissions to Megan's agents teams, that A team and then her e-commerce team. And again, that opportunity is available to all of you. If you'd be interested in joining one of Megan's teams, please feel free to reach out to her post-call. You can also put a chat here on our Zoom, and she'd be happy to explain how all of that works for you. But again, Megan, thank you for everything you do. And it's been a weird year, but a good year for her department. Commercial opportunity, as most of you know, some of you are already commercial certified. We do require folks within our brokerage who want to pursue commercial and pursue that business to take our commercial class titled Top Dogs. That is kicking off with the lead of Billy Elfers next Monday, 12/14. And that will be something that everyone is open to do. And if you're interested in that, reach out to your office coordinators, reach out to myself, reach out to Linda, and we can get you the URL to register for that. So, okay, the last piece here, a new support structure. As 2020 has happened, we have been behind the scenes really looking at and thinking about how we can continue to support you more. So I just want to mention a few things here. First one is marketing. Obviously, marketing is very, very important to your business and to the brokerage business. So coming soon in 2021, each region, Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, Fort Myers, will have their own marketing specialist. This will be led by our marketing director, Jen, and those folks are there to assist you all things marketing. They will be at your events. They can help you with social. They can help you with print marketing. Any marketing needs you have, we want you to come forward, and we want to be able to provide that support for you. Training, same structure here. Each market will have a training specialist. These specialists will be led right now by Carol Pergon, who is on this call here. Carol came to us very, very highly recommended. Carol does a lot of work in the real estate education world. We're super excited to have Carol helping us build this training department with our training specialists. And again, it doesn't stop there with Carol's team. Again, we want you to reach out to say, okay, hey, we need training on this. I'm struggling with this. Can we do a class on this? Again, your feedback is super, super important to us as we continue to build out the support services for you. And then regional support. So we want you to be able to get a question answered anytime you have a question. So we've layered in now branch coaches, regional managers, sales managers. Obviously, Linda is available. We have a multitude of brokers that are available for you. And so anytime you have a question or feel that you need support, again, please reach out to us. We never want you to feel like there's no one here for you. So we're adding folks to the staff to be able to assist you in answering any questions you might have. So diving in a little more on the marketing here, obviously we succeed when you succeed. So I'm going to highlight some of the marketing things that we have rolled out and other things that we're working on here. The first one, we got a lot of feedback to say, okay, hey, I would love to have a transaction manager. So we partnered with a company called Array Transaction Services, and they provide transaction management, not only from contract to close. Michaela will also do new listing to contract to close. So those services are available. Hopefully you've seen the flyers that are hanging probably near your office copiers or through the agent hub or through email. Pricing a little bit, I think a new listing is $100 and a pending is $200 contract to close. So that service is now available. Marketing presentation. ERA Corporate has done a phenomenal job, in my opinion, of revamping the marketing. I love the new look. You'll notice Carolina blue on my slide. You'll see the color palette that has a little orange in it. They have redone our listing presentation. So please, if you have not updated yours with the latest and greatest marketing presentation provided to us by ERA, please jump into Leverage. It's customizable. Download it, add your picture, your stats, all of your information, and it's there for you. And let's go win more of those listing appointments. Individual marketing plan. This goes back to our marketing specialist. Obviously, we want to do some business planning with each of you, but we feel that your marketing plan is just as important as a business plan. So we want to reach out and be able to provide a service to you to do an individual marketing plan for the entire year of 2021. What are you going to do on this day? Social. What are you going to do on this day? Print. How are you staying in touch with your past clients, your sphere of influence? So having that plan established in a calendar format is our goal for each of you. So please, again, reach out for that and engage in the support that we're investing in you. The marketing department is also preparing blogs for your use. Those are 2 a month. Those blogs post to our company website. They also post to your Zap individual website if you've checked the button to do so there. Those are great for social media, and Jen does a fantastic job of making sure those are timely blogs. So please make sure you're checking out the blogs. Those are also posted in the Agent Hub. Jen does social postings for all of us, for all of the company pages, which are there for you to share to your page as well. Custom social imagery. Each month you'll notice that there is a marketing tips sent out. And in that tip letter, it's a 2-page document typically. There will be custom JPEGs for you. Obviously right now with the holidays, they are themed that way. We've also done a couple of featured agents. We featured Robin Miller most recently out of the Grove City office with her holiday recipe. And then Jen is also working on the ERA Real Solutions holiday recipe book that you could obviously send out digitally, or if you want to order through Shutterfly, those are available as a way just for you to reach out to your clients. The last piece there is the marketing tips as well. Please continue to look for those on Agent Hub and utilize the marketing support that we're being offered. Let's dive into training really quick. Just wanted to highlight some of the things that are coming your way. Obviously the Achieve program, a lot of you have taken the ERA Achieve. That will be starting again in a couple weeks. So if you'd like to jumpstart into that again, please let us know and we'll get the communication to you and how to sign up to that. That will be virtual. So you can do that training program anywhere, anytime with, I believe Wayne Weaver is going to lead that. We have performance coaching programs on a weekly and monthly option coming your way in 2021. We have team training and team coaching, next level focus specifically coming your way. Training, tool of the month. As you know, Wayne does a tool of the month call every month. It's the third Thursday. And we continue to ask for feedback on those, on what tool, product, service you would like Wayne to highlight for you. So again, another opportunity for you once a month to engage with and really dive in and learn each tool specifically, not just the basics of it, but dive into more advanced use of it. And then our Agent Hub. If you do not have the Agent Hub on your cell phone, I would highly recommend you get that downloaded. That is our main way of communicating with all of you. There's a lot of sharing, a lot of collaboration that goes on the Agent Hub. You know, as far as, hey, does anyone know a chimney inspector? Has anyone experienced this in mortgage lending? So if you don't have the Agent Hub, obviously there's a desktop version as well, but it is in the App Store and on the Google Play Store as well. Please feel free to go in there. And I did want to highlight, there is a room in there titled Ask a Broker. So if you have a question and it's 10 o'clock at night, you don't feel like calling anyone, jump in Agent Hub, ask the question, and one of our brokers will jump on that and get an answer back to you. So next we're going to have Wayne sort of highlight a couple projects he's been working on. And this his focus today is going to be on customer for life and the efforts that we have to support you to stay in front of your customer. I'm sure all of you know the stat, 89% of consumers said they would use their agent again, and only 28% actually do. And 28 might be a little high here. You know, so you've spoken, we listened, 70% of you said that you do not have a client for life follow-up plan. So Wayne's got a couple cool programs he's going to introduce here in just one second. However, Wayne, before I turn it over to you, no quarterly meeting would be without a Come On Man. So as most of you know, Come On Man is the Monday Night Football, the bloopers from the weekend before. The announcers there on ESPN will come in and highlight one of those bloopers, and then they all say, Come On Man. So yesterday I came into my office and I only have one Come On Man today just because of the timing. But the crosstown shootout, UC versus Xavier, most of you know I am a UC guy. However, our compliance broker, Ron Quackemeyer, went to the other school there that starts with an X. So he graciously placed a picture of Xavier on my office door yesterday, just to kind of remind me that Xavier did beat UC on Sunday for the crosstown shootout. So for that, Ron Q, and for any of you others who are Xavier fans, you deserve a big come on, man. Wayne, I'll turn it over to you.
That's awesome. So got to have at least one. That's awesome. So yeah, we got some Xaviers in the chats too. So you're gonna feel that one for a while. So I'm gonna real quick apologize. We increased the size of this room to 500. They assured me that the link would work, and people are not able to get in. So I totally apologize. So if you're getting blown up by someone, Zoom is not they'll be like, oh, okay, but they're going to hear it from me. So, but we are recording it. So we will send it out and also kind of create a little summary of everything Jeremy went over. So we'll make sure we share that so we can get it to everyone. So I am actually going to share my screen here. And I just have a couple slides, but kind of like Jeremy was saying, we do listen. We are listening to you guys. So one thing that we are instituting is an auto enroll. So we have a buyer seller follow-up program. When you close a deal, Brittany, who is in our Grove City office, automatically clicks a box for a buyer, and you are auto enrolled within that program for 4 years. So you're a buyer for 4 years is getting touches. It sends 4 to 6 touch points throughout the year, emails and postcards. So you kind of get a hard copy besides the email. So what we've done is we're going to send out communication for you to auto enroll to both extend your buyer an additional 3 years. So you can take a buyer from 4 years to 7 years, and you'll have the option to auto enroll your seller for 7 years. So just as a way to help you stay in touch with your folks after closing. We know those stats are scary with us trying to stay in touch. So this is just going to be one option for us to, for you to just say, yes, do it. We will bill, it's $9 to extend the buyer. It's $22 to just enroll your seller. So for 7 years, you can, pay minimal money, to have that person stay, to help stay in contact with that. So just, just be on the lookout for office coordinator / office manager on the hub. We're going to kind of send out the information for you to just say, yes, do it. And we'll just bill you, come out of commission, super simple, and you won't have to worry about it again. So that is just one of the tools that we're going to try to do to help you, with that Client for Life thought program. So, and the second one is a long-term ZAP follow-up plan. So this is in ZAP. So if you do use another platform, get a hold of me. We might be able to work something out. Happy to help. But there will be it started already, a 12-year closed client follow-up plan in ZAP. So you can customize it if you want, because it's very generic. You can customize it, you can assign it, you can auto assign it. And then basically we just kind of sit back and know that for 12 years throughout the year, there are consistent communications coming from you for that client. So again, just another way we wanted to kind of create, a few options for you to help. So these two shouldn't be the only things that you do. Whatever else you're doing is a bonus. So these are just kind of mixing in with how you are staying in touch with your past clients. So I just wanted to make sure you both know those. In both of them, there'll be communication coming out soon. So you'll know exactly what you need to do. You'll know how to reach out to me to help you with the ZAP piece. If you're going to bring folks in, we can auto assign it. So just wanted to make sure you knew that we were working on them and that they will be coming out shortly. So before I introduce Ashton, let me just, there's some chat. So I wanted to make sure. I'm going to stop sharing my screen real quick. Oh, perfect. Brittany, real quick, Brittany just said that we often question like, hey, what's getting sent to my folks? How do we know when they get it? Brittany just said they changed the buyer seller follow-up program to when they send an email to your client, you'll get a copy of it. So that's actually a bonus. We've been asking for that for a while. So that's kind of a bonus. But again, you will definitely be getting communication on both of those things very soon. So I am going to, that's what I had for you. So, and Jeremy had some great information as well, but I am going to introduce Ashton. We are so excited to have Ashton joining us today. You'll quickly learn that Ashton has two passions: challenging the status quo, which is what we should be doing. We cannot be just, just doing, hey, this is what we've always done. So I can't wait to hear that message. And also changing the world as we know it, which to me is just awesome. So NAR recognized Ashton in 2010 as one of 30 under 30. So, that kind of sets him apart. He's he's a real estate agent. So he's not, so he's going to kind of get it. So when his message is coming through, there he is. So, he's currently owns 2 real estate companies, speaks across the country at numerous events, authors a blog, and is the author of the forthcoming book, Let the Music Play, a manifesto on making music with your life, family, and business. So super, super cool. Please help me welcome the homeboy, Ashton.
Thanks so much, Wayne. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. This is typically the most clunky moment of the transfer. It's
I'm glad you got in and can go. So I appreciate it.
Typically it's a 5-minute. Can you see me? Can you hear me? So we're good. We're moving a lot more efficiently than other ones I've been in. Thank you everybody for having me today. I hope that bio is true. Challenging the status quo. I begin every dialogue. I do about 2 or 3 of these a week at the moment. And I've historically, speak across the country 20, 30 times a year. But I'm not a speaker. I'm a real estate agent. You know what? I had a seller hyperventilating last night. I was at his dining room table. It was a little intense. I'm helping buyers navigate transactions today. I've got a seller mail out that I'm trying to get done today. I've got a buyer a seller that's negotiating non-realty items. It's kind of dramatic. I am one of you. While my bio may say that I speak across the country, I'm a real estate agent and run a couple of teams, but I'm very active in 2 markets that I operate in. And so I always want to start this dialogue with kind of just a simple, I am one of you. Like, I get it. I understand the frustrations. I understand the highs. I understand the lows. I get burned once a month on a buyer that didn't sign a buyer's representation. I get it. I am one of you. And it is what it is. But this dialogue that we have today about making music in a noisy world, this is a presentation I've been giving now for a couple years, but this conversation has become even more relevant in a world where, we're not rubbing elbows physically like we were anymore, but that doesn't mean that presence still can't be felt. And, it was Wayne or somebody that was, saying just a minute ago that, 89% of people say they would use us again. NAR for the last 30 years has said things like, 80% of people only talk to one real estate agent when they enter the marketplace, especially on the listing side. And so I just wanted to maybe call time out for a bit and bring you a message this morning that is freeing, that can bring you peace of mind, that can bring you some liberation, some restoration, and more than anything, can help you penetrate illusion and touch reality. And when I say that, what I'm trying to get you to hold on to is there are millions of products pointed at us as real estate agents that are like silver bullets. Buy this and you won't have to work hard anymore. But the truth is, your presence in people's life has never been more important. And there are a few ways that you can penetrate the noise of the world and show up and be music in people's lives. And when you are music, you are received, you're danced with, you're shared, you're remembered, you're talked about, you're remarkable. And so that's really, like, I hate to give it all away, but that's where we're going this morning, is that, you don't need another book. You don't need me as your real estate coach, which I do coach people, but I'm here to tell you, you don't need me. You don't need another seminar, and you don't need a better pay-per-click campaign, and you don't need a sexier website. You just need to have a friendly reminder that the job of a real estate agent day after day after day is to tastefully weave your story in and out of other people's stories, so that when the time comes for them to think about real estate, it's you they think of. That's my mantra. That's my business model. Tastefully weaving my story in and out of other people's stories, so that when the time comes for them to think about real estate, it's me that they think of. And so I don't demand that they use me as their agent today. I plant little seeds of contribution, and that's my job. And then over time, when I plant those seeds, the phone rings and I get the come list me calls, come help me buy calls, and I find myself to be busy. And so more than anything, I think today what this is kind of a model of what does it look like to make music on a daily basis, so that whenever your sphere of influence does need to enter the marketplace, or they do talk to someone else who says, hey, who should I use as a real estate agent? It's you that they think of. When you're from Texas, you probably all are kind of mocking me a bit, and I get it. You show the state, you tell people where you're from. I operate in 2 cities, Wichita Falls and Waco, Texas. They are 3 hours apart. Long story, happy to answer that down the road. But recently, I did make a shift more into the Waco market. You're probably familiar with the Chip and Joanna Magnolia fixer-upper craze. That has been made our market very, very interesting these last few years. But I always like to show you guys the markets where I operate. So let's get going. Here's the good news. The good news is you don't have to know a lot of things to be successful. You don't have to have good looks. You don't have to come from money. You don't have to have all of these letters before your name. You don't have to have all these letters after your name. You don't have to have everything that the world tells you you must have to be successful. What I have found, I've been infatuated with success and leaders and people that just stand out in the marketplace forever. I've always been interested in that conversation. And what I've found is these are people that have not mastered a lot of things, but rather they are people that have mastered very, very few things that are very, very great. And so the good news that I'm bringing into the room today is I'm going to share with you 10 bullet points, 10 ideas, but perhaps maybe only one of these needs to resonate with you. You don't have to walk away here today with 100 ideas. If you can create a little shift, massive things can happen. You've seen like airplanes before on a radar, right? And one airplane has 1 degree of difference from the other, and they start doing this over time. A lot of times we don't need a 5-digit code in our life and relationships and business. Sometimes we just need the last little digit. And maybe one of these things here today is this. And so the last thing I want to do is paint a picture that success is this esoteric thing that is only available to very few. It's actually available to all of us. But I have the big question in all of these places where I get to go speak is like, hey, where do we go from here? What do we do now? What's the post-COVID world is going to look like? A couple of years ago, it was, how do I handle Twitter and Facebook and Yelp, and who's Yelping and who's tweeting and who's posting and who's doing all this? How do I, what do I need to look like online? What's my social media presence need to look like? And again, those are important conversations. But I tell everybody, you could take away my website. You could actually even take away my cell phone. But if you gave me a rotary phone, you know, the old school, you know, put your finger in there. If you gave me a rotary phone and a stack of note cards with some forever stamps, which I keep right here next to my office desk drawer all the time, you give me a stack of note cards and a rotary phone, I'll be just fine. Because when the world zigs, we have to learn how to zag. And zagging in a world that zigs looks like being human. It looks like being old school. It looks like, well, that's interesting. I got a handwritten note from someone for no reason. I got a phone call from somebody for no reason. And again, the dialogue that I'm going to invite you into today is not that you need to walk into people's lives and scream, come to my open house, look at my latest listing. Do you want to see anything this weekend? Can I be your realtor? But instead, it comes from a place of contribution. And you come from a place of connection. And guess what happens when you come from a place of contribution and connection? Over time, people trust you. And you don't show up as spam. You show up as music. And like I said, music is something that we share. Music is something that we dance with. And that is the essence of what you want your business to be. So I'm going to offer you guys 10 truths for making music in a noisy world. These are just 10 of my redneck ideas. Y'all are probably hearing me talk and you're like, good Lord, who is this kid from Texas? These are just 10 of my redneck ideas, and we'll see how they go. But again, if 9 of them don't fit, that's okay. Something tells me that at least one of these, you may go, I think I could use that. And if you walk away with one idea today and you implement it, parentheses, and you implement it, I think today will have been successful. So here we go. The first one is this idea that being faster than expected is greater than being on time. Faster than expected is greater than being on time. I can't see you all, but normally when I'm in a room, I always ask the question and I go, hey, raise your hand if you've ever bought a pair of shoes from Zappos. And typically when that happens, all the ladies get real excited. And they're like, oh, I've bought so many shoes from Zappos. And all the guys are like, Zap who? But the idea of this company, Zappos, is they were like the first online shoe company that really made it happen. And they had a guy, a leader, actually tragically passed away last week, Tony Hsieh. He wrote one of the greatest books on business that I've ever read. It's called Delivering Happiness. It changed my outlook on the customer experience. And so being that I was in Wichita Falls, Texas, it was Christmas a handful of years ago. And my wife tells me she wants a pair of those fluffy boot things, from Australia, Uggs, I think they're called. And so, the Wichita Falls Mall is not your average Nordstrom, let me say that, or Neiman Marcus. So I go to the mall, not really finding these Ugg, fluffy boots that look like they're for Eskimos. And we live in North Texas, where it's like 60 degrees is a cold day. That's neither here nor there. But I lost my train of thought there. Anyway, I don't see these boots. So I think Zappos. I'm going to go to Zappos because I'd read this book, Delivering Happiness. I go there, I place the order, and it says, we see that you've never bought shoes from us before. Would you like free overnight shipping? And it was like December 21st or 22nd. I mean, I was late to the ball on doing my Christmas shopping. And I was like, well, of course I'd like free overnight shipping. And so I hadn't planned on that. I figured they would show up in like 2 or 3 days. I hit submit, and what do you know? Literally, I placed that order around 12 o'clock, and the next day by 11 at my office, these pair of shoes fall on my desk. And I just have this moment. Now, again, we hear like overnight shipping today, and it's not really much to us, but a handful of years when that was free and it was unexpected, that's a big deal. And so I had this thought of like, man, when things happen faster than we expect them, there's something in the customer experience that really talks to people in that moment. And so I was operating my online websites at that time, and I had this thought, what if I found a way to just send a simple text message to every one of my leads that registered within 5 minutes of them registering on my website? Now, you've probably heard the data, and it just gets harder and harder every year. The moment someone asks a question on your website, every minute that goes by when you don't get an answer, it becomes less and less likely that you're ever going to convert that to business. If you go a day between responding to someone's question, they have been on 50 other websites. They've made 2 Amazon purchases. They've looked at a place to go on vacation. They've texted with 10 of their friends. They don't even remember asking that question to you. But when so I did this practice once. I said, you know what? I'm just going to send a quick text every time someone registers on my site, and I want to see what happens. These next few slides, guys, I don't know how to work. What's that? Photoshop? I don't know how to do that. I just literally took pictures, screenshots from my phone, put them into this presentation, and you're going to see some interesting things. I misspelled words. There's typos. The grammar's redneck awful. Just look here what we say. Manuela, thank you for using thefallshomefinder.com. Can we set up any homes for you to preview this weekend? She responds, mind you, 3 hours later, okay, sure. But if you want to call me first, I can let you know my priorities. Now, I don't know if you guys are like me, but like when a living, breathing human says, please call me and I can tell you what I'm looking for to buy a house, that's like a good day in the real estate world. And so I was like, interesting. So I call Manuela, chat with her. What do you know? 60 days later, we've got her under contract. The next second, another one comes in. Amber, thank you for viewing the Falls Home Finder. Can we set up any homes for you to preview? I mean, look at just, I'm not saying anything fancy. I'm just showing up super, super fast, almost in real time, faster than expected, right? To which she says, I'm looking at buying my first house and not really sure where to begin. Now, how many websites had she been on? How many times had she been to Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, and no one ever just said, may I help you? And when this happens quickly, and I know that like these slides, they almost feel obnoxiously simple, and they are, but I think that we forget that sometimes the digital experience that someone is having is what used to be when somebody walked in our storefront, walked into our office, or made a sign call. And if we never connect with them, we're probably missing a very magical moment. Said, hey, we can help you. Have you met with a lender yet? No, I'm off on Monday. I was planning on seeing what I could do. Amber gets converted within another 6 to 90 days. The next one here, hey, may we set up a time for you to preview homes? Please let me know. We're here to help. She said, can you send me a listing of the houses you have from 80 to 130,000? You guys are probably like, that poor kid is selling trailer houses to people for $80,000. Yeah, I know. We were doing 450 transactions a year with a team of about 8 of us. That would only equal about 60 million. The good news is our average price point's about 170 in our marketplace now. But at the end of the day, you know, like I tell everyone when I come and teach these classes, I wish in real estate I was a, you know, vascular cardiologist, but I'm just a general practitioner. And so we sell them all. I've got deals in contract north of $1 million. And I think I sold a piece of land for $1,200 last year. So we're doing it all. Anyway, look what happens when you connect with people quickly. The next one here, I thought, man, if this is working in Wichita Falls, maybe I need to go to Waco. I was seeing the people that were registering on those sites. I sent a simple, quick follow-up. And I love this one here. He said, no, thank you. Not right now. Thanks for asking. That led me to another way to tastefully weave my story into his story. We got him connected on an auto campaign of houses within the criteria he wanted. And a few months later, Todd was eventually a transaction that we closed. Now, listen, I'm not coming into the room today telling you guys that I bat 1,000 in this world, that somehow my text messages are connected to the universe and they are always welcomed by everyone that receives them. But I will tell you, the overwhelming majority of people that get real-time communication from me or my team members when they register, the responses are terrific. And sometimes they say we have an agent, or sometimes they say I was just looking for a friend. But more often than not, this is the initial way I have learned to turn a stranger into a friend. You turn a stranger into a friend by dropping little pebbles of trust into that relationship. And when they see that you're showing up faster than they would typically expect, what you're doing is really making music in a noisy world. And I can assure you, if you have any type of lead gen system, whether it's Zillow, whether it's something through your broker, whether it's any way that leads are coming your way, I would really encourage you to find a practice and a discipline to make sure that as fast as you can set up those conversations, you can do that. The question that I have always posed is like, what happens when your digital world gets some soul? Like, what happens when that sexy website that you spent all that money and you got your glamour shots and it looks so good? What happens when it actually becomes a living, breathing thing that connects human to human and really allows you to serve these people that are longing to be served? By no means, again, do I believe that conversion rates are going to be 50%. Heck, I'm not even saying they're going to be 10%. But sometimes we just need that friendly reminder that, oh, Betty Sue, Yahoo at AOL.com is actually a human. And she may actually be buying a home very soon. And sometimes you just need that friendly reminder to show up in a tasteful way and simply say, how may I help you? And when you do that, when you show up in that space of contribution where you're listening, beautiful things can happen. The other thing I would say is this: as fast as you can learn someone's story, remember to communicate with them with relevance. And what I mean is, you want to learn exactly what they're looking for. City statistics don't mean anything to everybody. If you know the neighborhood they want to be in, you need to show up speaking that neighborhood jargon every time you talk to them. Oh, you're just targeted in Woodway, you're just targeting in Badger Ranch, you just want to be in Lake Wellington. Every time you show up, you tastefully weave your story in and out of their story, and you do it with relevance, you do it with consistency, you do it with persistence. And what happens is then you become heard. If you just show up and tell people the market's great and interest rates are low, it goes in one ear and out the other. But when you can show up and you go, hey, I know this buyer is looking for this, and this new listing just hit in the market, and here's seller's disclosure, and here's my opinion of value, and here's when I'm available to show it. Here's the average utilities that I went and got from the seller. That is when you start standing out from the crowd and become music in a noisy world. Number 2, building your brand is greater than choosing to be a commodity. You have a beautiful brand in ERA. Your team leaders, your brokers are all for your flourishing and your productivity in the marketplace. And you also yourself are a brand. And when those two things come together, a beautiful thing happens. I launched this concept called Ashton is my homeboy. If y'all could have seen me 16 years ago when I got into the business, I did look like a kid in junior high. I mean, I was, if you think I look young today, imagine me 16 years ago. But I was like, you know what? Let's play with that a bit. So I turned myself into a cartoon. I created a website called AshtonIsMyHomeboy.com because I sell homes. I look like a young boy. What do you know? I'm a homeboy. This thing caught on fire. And in my marketplace, people absolutely loved it. There were 320 real estate agents in the little community of Wichita Falls, but there was only one homeboy. And so when you can find a way to carve that niche, when it's no longer, do you need a realtor? People online started saying things like, me and my homeboy, I have a homeboy, you should call my homeboy. They were taking ownership of this. It was an interesting thing that happens. Seth Godin wrote a book once called Purple Cow. And the essence, I'm gonna read the entire book, Purple Cow, to you right now. This is it. You're driving down the highway. There's some brown cows, there's some black cows, there's some black and white spotted cows. But then you see this purple cow. What are you gonna do? You're gonna stop, you're gonna pull over, you're probably gonna take a purple cow selfie, and you're probably gonna share it with your friends. That is the marketing concept of the book Purple Cow. That when the world is zigging, we as real estate agents have to learn to zag. And I'll tell you guys, it's not a better website. It's not a sexy social media stream. It's not a direct mail campaign. It is actually just learning the art and being human in the marketplace. I can't tell you how many people this year that in the midst of COVID, maybe some days I've written 50 handwritten notes to people, just thinking, who am I grateful for? Who has helped build my business? Who has been a part of my story? And I don't talk about real estate in these notes. I'm not like, and if you ever need a realtor, please let me know. Because here's the truest thing I could tell you about what the marketplace is saying about you and I right now. The marketplace is overwhelmingly clear that it would rather have a friend than a real estate agent. The marketplace is saying it would rather have a friend than a realtor. I make this joke all the time. If there's an agent in your marketplace that kind of looks like Joe Dirt and has a mullet, and yet he sells 70 deals a year, and you're like, why on earth does Joe Dirt sell so many houses every year? It's because he's a friend to a lot of people. A lot of people trust Joe Dirt with a mullet. And when real estate comes up, it's Joe Dirt that they think of. And so for me, I have really found that the best way to be purple, especially in the midst of a world where we're kind of on lockdown here and there, is just to show up and tastefully weave my story in and out of other people's stories. Simon Sinek wrote a book called Start With Why. You've probably seen some of his presentations, but it's been such a good clarifying reminder for me of how people make decisions. So a lot of people think that we get chosen because of what we do. So you look at this circle here. Yeah, people call me because I'm a realtor, and when they need to buy a house, they need a realtor. So that's what I do. That's why that's the reason they call me. That's actually not true. And then you've got people that sometimes they think, well, people choose me because of how I'm a realtor, like I'm a really good one, or I have a track record or whatever. That's actually not true either. People do business with you because of why they think you do it. And I can tell you, this is sometimes a hard dialogue for people to understand. But in the book, he takes the difference between like an Apple computer and Dell computer. If you remember 10, 15 years ago, Dell computer marketing went something like this. Do you need a computer? Does it need to be fast? Does it need to have a CD-ROM? Does it need to have Internet Explorer? Go to Dell.com, because they were all about the what. Well, Apple shows up and they almost don't even talk about their products. They just start telling us things like, we believe in beautiful design. We believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in the artist. They were just saying all these like we believes. And over time, one by one, you and I started to take this company up on the things that they believed. iPhone, MacBook Pro. I mean, I have a MacBook Pro, and it's like created to make movies, and yet I just host Zoom meetings and use it for Gmail. But why do I have it? It's because I believe what they believe. And so I invite you to lead with that in the marketplace. Lead with your why. Talk about things. I often say this: I just happen to be in the real estate business. Like it could have been anything, but I just happen to be in the real estate business. People, they take that, and it doesn't show up as spam. It shows up as authenticity. And more often than not, that's what people are absolutely after today. Next one is this: turning pro is greater than being an amateur. So turning pro is greater than being an amateur. I remember the day that I turned pro in my business. I dressed differently. I changed my voicemail on a daily basis. I created my own letterhead. I started wearing a suit. Before then, it was like shotgun a Red Bull, watch a few YouTube videos, and call my fraternity brothers and ask them if college was really over. I mean, that was kind of my business model, my first few years in the business. And then I was like, I'm going about this as an amateur. I'm not focused. I'm not dialing in what I need to be dialing in. And Stephen Pressfield has this line where he says, I can divide my life neatly into two parts: before turning pro and after is better. We know the agents in the marketplace that are pros, are we not? It's probably everybody that's on this call today. We also know the agents that are constantly the victim, love hanging out by the coffee pot, and really love stirring up the gossip pool. We know those people. They are amateurs in the business. They are not really taking this on like a pro does. And if you think about, all of these pros that we think of: Serena Williams, Roger Federer, Tiger Woods, Jordan Spieth. I can go on and on. LeBron James. None of those people wake up and wonder what they're going to do each day. None of them wonder. It is set in stone. They have rhythm. They have routine. At 8 a.m., they do this. At 9 a.m., they do this. At 10:30, they're on that treadmill. At 11 o'clock, they're on that phone call. Whatever that may be. I think we as real estate agents could really, really use a dose of turning pro. Because if you're like me, the worst days in our business are when I get home, turn on Jimmy Fallon, and kind of ask, how on earth did I get here? I don't even know what happened today. As Zig Ziglar says, I was a wandering generality. Whereas when we turn pro, we become a meaningful specific. And I've found one of the fastest ways to shift into making music in a noisy world is me telling my day where it's going rather than my day telling me where I'm going to go. And it's a massive, massive shift when that happens as you venture into 2021 and think what that next year could look like for you. I invite you to consider time blocking. I invite you to consider maybe a 10-minute window every day where you make some calls or write some handwritten notes, just turning pro in what you do. And here's the beautiful thing that happens when you turn pro. All of a sudden, your business becomes sustainable. All of a sudden, your business becomes predictable. It even becomes more profitable. And last but not least, becomes enjoyable because you know each day what you need to be doing. You plant those seeds and then you surrender and let go. And I can promise you, day after day after day, if you turn pro, you will see yourself move into the next realm of business that you're longing to move into. Number 4, your art is greater than the science. This one's a little out there, kind of a bit too metaphorical at times, but walk with me for a bit. So if you remember Bubba, this is Bubba Watson, right? Now, there's some things about this photo that are just kind of funny. First off, the name Bubba and the green jacket at the Masters, they're not necessarily synonymous. You wouldn't just think that those two things go together. He's now won the Masters 2 times. At the time of this photo, Bubba Watson had never had a professional golf lesson. I repeat, it is possible to win the Masters golf tournament with the top players in the world without ever having someone tell you how to grip, swing the club, where to aim, or whatever. And the reason is because he was an artist. For those of you that are golfers, Bubba's swing is kind of this weird anomaly thing. It's this loopy left-handed thing. It doesn't look like everyone else on the tour. His right foot kind of comes up in the swing, but it works. He went, oh, the point of this game is to hit that ball as few times in these 18 holes. I got it. And if you remember, he went into a playoff after the 72 holes, and his first shot was not good. It ended up in the woods, and he had to make this dramatic shot that kind of looped around and did its thing. But he was able to do it because he was an artist. He had painted that shot in his head so many times, and when the moment of opportunity showed itself, he was ready. And so I invite you to this realization that you're not one book away. You're not a coach away. You're not a conference away. You are one awakening away from realizing that you actually already have everything that you need to be successful. It just kind of looks like turning pro, showing up on a daily basis, coming from a place of contribution, coming from a place of connection, being human, tastefully weaving your story in and out of other people's stories. And you do that as a lifestyle. And over time, you find yourself wearing the green jacket. We do not remember those artists who followed the rules more diligently than the rest. We remember those who made the art from which the rules inevitably follow. So I'm inviting you to break the rules here. Obey your code of ethics. But I am saying, shake it up a bit. Find a way to connect with people in new and fresh ways. Surprise and delight people. And I think you'll find yourself living a life and navigating a business that becomes shareable. There's artists in the marketplace that I know. Rob Levy's from Oregon, Kristen Cole from Alaska, Alan Dom from Philly, John Jones, Tennessee, Bob Wolf, California, Christina Wise, Austin. I found people across the country that I wanted to mirror. And so if you look at anything that I do at the local level, you'd be like, oh, well, that's what Rob does. Or that's what Kristen does. That's what John Jones does. Yes. And so I invite you to find people. I read a book once that's called Steal Like an Artist. And the whole idea is like, there's nothing new under the sun. Find people that you think your art could resonate with, and do what they do. And over time, I think you'll see interesting things happening. How we doing here on time? Whew, I better get going. Number 5, listening is greater than shouting. The market does not like our shouting. The marketplace isn't that concerned about our latest listing. The marketplace isn't that concerned about our latest open house. All the things that we think maybe it wants to hear, it's not so much. But what the market loves is when someone listens to it and then kind of takes that information and knowledge and brings it back to the person and says, I've listened to the marketplace, I have listened to you, and maybe here is what this means. Twitter. Now, in Wichita Falls, Texas, it's actually pronounced Tweeter, and not many people use it, full disclosure. But I will tell you that once before, anytime you go to the website, search.twitter.com, you can constantly see whatever dialogue is happening. It's like walking into a cocktail party and immediately going, I want to know who's talking about whatever. And you can see that. One time I was on search.twitter.com and I found that there was an individual who just landed at the Wichita Falls airport. Said, I just landed here. I'm here for a job interview. Where should I go eat? I had searched Wichita Falls. Well, guess who listened to that individual? It was me. I started connecting with him. I told him where I thought he should go eat. And long story short, he eventually connected me with his wife. And we eventually get connected on a house hunting trip and eventually close it into a transaction. If I had just been screaming at the marketplace, I probably never would have heard this. But if I would have been listening, if I wouldn't have been listening, I probably wouldn't have that interaction. And so the invitation for all of us is to simply listen to the market. Listen to the market and report back. And when you do that, when you report back and you go, hey, I could just scream at you and tell you that the market is up 28%. But what if I just go into this neighborhood and I tell them, hey, your neighborhood is up 17% and your days on market is here. And chances are your equity has probably moved X% this year. And if you're ever thinking about moving, today would be a great time because of interest rates and the low inventory. When you show up and you report back, you begin to become the marketplace expert. And people either trust you out of friendship and relationship, or they trust you because they believe you're the expert. So the people that already love you and trust you, you just need to show up as the friend. But the people that don't know you, that maybe you're a stranger to, you just need to learn how to find a way to show up and be the market expert. Paying with attention. Number 6, paying with attention is greater than paying per click. So if you'll allow me to go 1985 realtor on you, let me do that. These are things we don't think about, but in 1985, all realtors were. And I think they're things that we need to be thinking about on a daily basis. Who's getting married? Who's having a baby? Who's having a home purchase anniversary? Who's sending their kid to college? They may want to participate in that market. Who's becoming an empty nester? Who got a promotion? Who could be looking to downsize? There's a book that's called The Power of Who. It was written by Bob Bodine, and his concept of this book is that you already know everyone you need to know to be successful. The problem is you're not tastefully showing up in their lives with relevant information, adding value, coming from a place of contribution. And so they don't necessarily connect you with the marketplace. They connect someone else who maybe has shown up tastefully in their lives. But the power of who is this great reminder that I think all of us should have a top 100 list. And if you probably don't have a top 100 list, you need to get one. And the top 100 list is basically who are the 100 people in your marketplace that trust you. If you can get to 150, if you can get to 250, you can get to 300. If you have 300 people that trust you in the market, you're probably never going to be looking for anything to do. But one of the things that I coach agents on is helping them build this list out so they can constantly be focused on who's in front of them, how can they add value, How can they share their story? And how can they connect with them on a consistent basis? You already know everyone that you need to know. And so just remember that that's super, super key to staying in touch with people. Because the truth is, and I think I've already shared this, that a friend is actually greater than a quote unquote friend. Like on Facebook, you're like, well, I've got 2,500 friends on Facebook. That's fine. But how many friends do you actually have? How many people do you actually invest time and energy in their life? Because those are going to be the people that build your business. I'll never forget the time when a friend of mine sent me a text and she said, hey, this gal just said that she's going to be listing her house, and she asked Facebook who she should list her house with. And if you've ever seen one of these Facebook battle royale moments, they're kind of comical, because someone, they drop that bomb or that grenade and it says, I'm going to list my house. Who should I use? And what's crazy is, like, people come to defend us. It's kind of a beautiful realization when you see that it happens. But there were like 50 comments, okay? And I had like 7 votes of like affirmation on her stream. And so I was like, man, I'm feeling pretty good. The next closest agent was only mentioned like 2 times. I bet you I'm going to get this listing. So I made this real nice market analysis. I delivered it on her porch, sent her a message, never heard anything. The next day, that listing popped up in the MLS. And of course, it did not have my name on it. And I was like, well, this doesn't make sense. 7 votes, 2 votes. I mean, now I understand a little bit more of the Electoral College. And at the end of the day, here's what I found out. I wasn't her friend. I didn't have that true connection. The person that she actually listened to the recommendation, she was super, super close to. And so we've got to find ways to build trust, because 80% of the people, when they think realtor, they only can name one of us. And if you think about that, the data says 80% of the population can only name one. 15% of the population can name 2. 5% of the population can name 3 real estate agents. And I'm convinced the 5% in that survey were real estate agents themselves. And so this is an important thing to remember, that when you walk by someone at the grocery store, if you tap them on the shoulder 8 out of 10 times and you said, can you name a real estate agent? Only one name will pop up. And so my great aha in my business that I had many years ago was, am I the name? And if I'm not, how do I tastefully become the name? I don't want to spam my way there. I want to arrive there through relevance, through connection, through contribution, and through expertise. And I think I've already said this too. The marketplace has spoken, and would rather have a friend than a realtor. Look at your business this year. I would bet you that anywhere from 70 to 80% of your business came from people that you would call your friends. And so the truth is, we need to be on the hunt for more friends. And if you're not friendly, well, that's a problem. You need to find a way to connect with people. Come from that place of contribution. That, in the end, is how you build trust. Number 8, being remarkable is greater than the status quo. A friend of mine is an agent in California. And a couple of years ago, he always picks a word, and then he allows his whole year to like be governed by that word. And he's kind of a hippie, from Palo Alto, so they can do things like that. And I said, well, what's your word for the year? And he's like, it's called delight. And I said, delight, huh? Well, tell me how that works. He's like, I'm just going to delight, all my clients. And he does like 20 deals a year, and it equals 40 million in volume. So he's like, average price point of 2 million. I should probably go be his buyer's agent, to be honest with you. I'm doing 400 deals that doesn't even equal that. But I said, well, tell me, what does delight look like? And he goes, well, one of my clients, they told me that if they bought this house, they wanted to sleep in the backyard the first night. I was like, you guys really are hippies out here. And he goes, so what I did is I didn't tell him, but I went and rented a 50-foot stargazing tent. And I put it in their backyard. And I filled their house with a week's worth of groceries. And when they got there, they had groceries and they had a tent and they just spent the night in their backyard. I was like, man, I can't even afford to buy my clients a 6-pack of Natty Light. And he didn't know what to do with that. I was joking, by the way. But my point is this: when you delight people, tell me that those people didn't tell that story over and over and over. And I know that we all can't go rent stargazing tents in $2 million transactions, but there is a moment in every transaction where I do think you can do something remarkable. Because when you do something remarkable, you then are able of being remarked on in the marketplace. And the phrase that I often like to say is, in order to create careers and lives that are extraordinary, we must continually create moments that are out of the ordinary. And so I don't know what that looks like for you and your business, but I do believe that it is pivotal that any moment that you can do something out of the norm, any moment that you can become human and do something that is just out of the box, total surprise, total delight. Those are little things that actually make you and your story more shareable in the marketplace. Because the truth is this: word of mouth is back. Yellow pages, gone. Billboards, not what they used to be. People now want recommendations. Go to any hotel website, go to any travel site, Airbnb, wherever, Zillow now. People are reading reviews and they want to know what's going on with people. And so word of mouth is back. And in order to do that, you have to do things that are remarkable. And so the question for your business model right now is, will you be shared? Are you showing up in a way in people's lives where you'll be talked about, where you'll be shared, where the moment, there's so many moments in all of our transactions where things get tough, it becomes overwhelming. But if you can be that steady, redemptive presence, maybe that's the little thing that you need to do to be that surprise and delight, and that in the end will get you shared. Number 9, you've probably heard this through everything that I've said, is that your human thumbprint is greater than your digital footprint. The contribution that you bring into transactions, into people's lives, I just think it's worth 10x than what your Instagram and Facebook page is. And I'm not telling you to not be there. I mean, we spend money in both of those platforms. We are, you can go online and look at our threads. I mean, we are there, but I'm telling you, for what can be seen by 500 people on Facebook, if I showed up with some humanity to one person in the marketplace each day, that's worth 10x what 500 views online can be. And so my question for you is, what happens if your digital footprint found some soul? What happens if you're just showing up tastefully in people's lives kind of became the whole essence of your business? And the truth is, all of these things put together, what they do is they make you the music, because I believe that your music is greater than the marketplace noise. And many, many years ago, I read this quote by Oliver Wendell Holmes, and it says this right here, that the greatest tragedy in America is not the destruction of our natural resources, though that tragedy is great. The truly great tragedy is the destruction of our human resources by our failure to fully utilize our abilities, which means that most men and women go to their graves with their music still in them. So when we ask this question of where in the world do we go from here, the overwhelming, obnoxious, and yet simple and quiet answer is, we go make some music. We come from a place of contribution. We tastefully show up in people's lives. And when we show up there, we don't show up with spam. We show up with something relevant. We show up with something that matters to them. We show up with a dialogue that they could actually remember and that may actually add some value. And when you do that, day by day by day, this is a lifestyle. Over time, you get talked about. Over time, you get shared. Over time, you build a business that doesn't chase leads, it attracts them. And a business that attracts leads is one that is sustainable, predictable, and profitable. And I have learned, after coaching agents now for the last 3 years, sustainability, predictability, and profitability are the hardest things for agents to keep aligned. And when they can keep those things aligned, they feel satisfied, they feel fulfilled, they have this sustainable joy, which is what we are all after. So those are 10 points on making music in a noisy world. I hope that one of those resonated with you. I don't know how we need to go about maybe answering any questions right now. If you guys have any, I probably need to click stop sharing my screen somewhere, which I can do. And again, I'm super grateful for having the chance to share with you guys today. And hopefully something I said could create some positive change in your life.
Wow. that hit home. So it was awesome. So totally appreciate you taking some time and joining us. It was very good. Lots of chat is blowing up with awesome and wonderful. So thank you.
Right on. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, Ashton, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate your time this morning. I'm sure you're a couple hours behind us, so a little earlier where you're at. But let's show Ashton some love in the chat here. Any questions, any comments, any feedback would be greatly appreciated, I'm sure, for him and for us as well as we continue to plan our virtual series here. And Ashton, lots of positivity coming through here. So good vibes, positivity, always in search of that. So again, Ashton, thanks so much. At this point, if there aren't any questions, I'll wrap us up here. And kind of echo what Ashton said in that, let's make 2021. If you feel like you're not on that professional level yet and you want to turn up the volume, crank it up a little bit on your business, please reach out. That's what we're here for. Your support is here for you to get you to professional. If you already feel like you're a professional, let's maintain it and let's dive into some things, take it next level. Megan, Linda, Wayne, thanks for planning this session here. And hopefully everyone saw a tremendous amount of feedback. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to everyone. And let's make 2021 our best year and make sure we're all true professionals, to Ashton's words. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Have a great day.